Hey, what if I told you that you could learn 4 new words for the price of just one? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're unlocking some secrets of English vocabulary, and we're turning a simple list of words into a really powerful lesson that's going to boost your word power. So let's get right into it. So, our whole lesson today was actually inspired by this really interesting prompt. It's all about acting as a patient English teacher and explaining things super clearly. And I thought, yeah, that's a great idea. So, we're going to take that spirit of patient, clear teaching and organize these words into a structured lesson. Because, learning is so much easier when you can see the connections, right? All right, so here's our plan for today. We're going to start with people and actions, then move on to describing ideas and qualities. After that, we'll get into the really cool part, unlocking word patterns. And finally, we'll wrap up with your vocabulary toolkit. It's going to be great. Okay, section 1, people and actions. Let's kick things off with the real world. Words for the people we meet every day and the stuff they do. This is vocabulary you can literally start using right away. So check this out. We've got assistant librarian, waiter, bartender, attendant, barista. See how they all kind of fit together? They all belong to the same category. Linguists have a fancy term for this. They call it a semantic field. But really, it just means they're all related. In this case, it's the service industry. Every single one of these jobs is about helping people, whether it's finding a book or making your morning coffee. All right, next up we have the word unattended. This basically just means something or someone is left all alone without anyone watching over them. You've probably heard this a million times at the airport, right? Please do not leave your baggage unattended, but it also applies to an unattended child or even just an unattended desk. It's a super useful word. Okay, now let's look at a few different ways of speaking. We've got chat, talk, and gossip. They all mean speaking, but they have totally different flavors. Talk is your basic, everyday, go-to word. Chat is way more casual, like when you're just catching up with a friend. But then there's gossip, and that one's got a bit of a negative vibe. It's all about spreading rumors and secrets. So, yeah, context is everything when you're picking which one to use. All right, section 2, describing ideas and qualities. So we've talked about people and what they do. Now we're going to shift gears a bit and dive into more abstract stuff, words that help us describe ideas, feelings, and characteristics with real precision. Okay, here's a pair of words that can be super tricky: impersonal and insensitive. Impersonal is totally neutral. It just means something isn't personal, like a standard formal business email. No big deal. But insensitive? Oof, that's a big red flag. That means you've said or done something without caring about someone else's feelings. So an impersonal email is fine, but an insensitive comment, that's a recipe for trouble. So what's the difference between a defect and a flaw? They both mean something's not perfect, but we use them differently. Think of a defect as a problem with a physical product, like a manufacturing defect in your new phone. A flaw is a bit deeper. It's more about a weakness in a person's character, like a character flaw, or a weakness in an idea, like a flaw in the system. Now for 2 really positive, powerful words, agile and sharp. Agile is all about moving quickly and easily. You can have an agile athlete, for sure, but you can also have an agile mind, someone who thinks on their feet. Sharp, on the other hand, is pretty much all about intelligence. A sharp mind or a sharp comment means someone is really quick, smart, and perceptive. Both are awesome compliments. All right, let's break down liberty versus libertarian. It's actually pretty straightforward. Liberty is the big idea. It's the state of being free. It's a noun. A libertarian is a person who really believes in and supports that idea of liberty, often to the point of wanting very little government interference. So one is the concept of freedom, and the other is a person who advocates for it. Okay, get ready, because this next section, unlocking word patterns, is my absolute favorite. Seriously, this is where the magic happens. We're about to stop learning words one by one and start learning them in big, connected groups. Once you start spotting these patterns, like word families and prefixes, your vocabulary is just going to explode. It's a total game changer. Just look at this. Let's take the verb to deceive, which just means to trick someone. Once you know that one word, you've unlocked a whole family. The act of tricking someone, that's deception. The person doing the tricking, they're a deceiver. And if something looks misleading, we call it deceptive. See that? One root word gets you 4 words. That is the power of patterns right there. Here's another fantastic example, this time with prefixes. So you have the verb to defeat, right? To win against someone. If you can beat them, they are defeatable. Simple enough? But now watch this. Just add the little prefix un at the beginning, and you completely flip the meaning. They become undefeatable, impossible to beat. Just understanding that one little prefix is, well, it's a huge shortcut. Okay, all of these words, enlarge, expand, extend, and magnify, are about making something bigger. But, and this is a big but, you can't just swap them around. They each have their own specific job. You enlarge a photograph, you expand a company, you extend a deadline to make it longer, and you magnify something tiny with a microscope. The context tells you which word is the right one. Here's another super powerful prefix for you. Over. All it means is too much. It's so simple. If you overdo something, you did too much. If you overuse it, you used it too much. If you overthink a problem, yeah, you're thinking way too much. Once you get this prefix, you suddenly understand a ton of new words. It's like a key. Okay, pay close attention, because this one is a classic trap for English learners. The verbs to horrify and to terrify. They mean basically the same thing, to scare someone a lot. But look at the adjectives. Horrific means absolutely awful, terrible. But terrific means fantastic, wonderful. They are complete and total opposites. So be really careful with these two. And here's another pair that gets mixed up all the time. Ensure and assure. Here's the simple trick to remember it. You ensure a thing or an outcome. For example, you double-check your work to ensure it's correct. But you assure a person. You tell your worried friend, I assure you it's going to be okay. So just remember, ensure for things, assure for people. All right, our final section, your vocabulary toolkit. We've looked at words for people, for ideas, and most importantly, the patterns that connect them. So let's wrap this all up. So if you remember just one thing from our time together today, let it be this. Learning vocabulary is not about memorizing endless lists of random words. No way. It's about recognizing patterns. It's about seeing the connections, the word families, the prefixes, the little differences between synonyms. That's the real key to unlocking the language. So I'm going to leave you with a question, a little challenge. Which new word pattern are you going to look for today? Seriously, keep your eyes and ears open as you read and listen, because that curiosity is what's really going to supercharge your learning. Thanks so much for joining me.